But I knew that I wanted to make even more impact here in Africa. And so I had to figure out what that meant for me. I intentionally took a year off, and during that year, I took a very active break. So, meaning that I volunteered for different organizations. So organizations that I had been members of, but never had time to really do anything as CEO. I reached out to them and say, hey, I have some free time. What do you need? So I ran strategy sessions. I was tapped for various speaking engagements. I adjudicated different entrepreneurial panels, etc. And so that was one piece. The second piece was I spoke with a lot of people during that time. This was last year. So I would meet you, Sean, and we would have a nice chat, 30 minutes, and then you say, oh, but you should also meet Millie and John. And you'd give me the contact, and I would reach out to Millie and John. Don't know them from Adam, but I'd reach out to say, hey, Sean said we should connect. Let's connect. And so the next week, I'm talking to Millie John. And so each time I would speak to someone, they would give me a few other people to talk to. And so I was persistent actually reaching out and just widening my network that way. So I already had a very strong network, and this just made it wider. And I was speaking to people from nonprofits, speaking to people from foundations, speaking to people from academia, speaking to people from the whole startup ecosystem, venture capitalists, private equity, etc. And at some point, I actually thought that I would go into private equity. I had done strategic M&A, and it was really about sort of helping the small companies rise up, in a way, etc. And had a couple offers on the table. And then there were some hiccups in the process, which made me take a step back and say, well, is this really what I want? And that moment of soul seeking brought a moment of clarity as well to say, well, actually what I want to do is to help people. And what is the best way to help people is to advise them. And going back to my mother hen nature, what I'd observed is that there are a lot of smart people with really creative ideas, really great ideas, but many of them had never worked in corporate environments, never led a team, never built a business, and just didn't know what they didn't know. And maybe they just needed a business mom to come in and sort of help them out. And that's where the idea of the consulting business was born.